like my life ain't mine. I want you to be alive. I want you to be alive. You don't gotta die today.
All right, what's up, everybody? Lucky Lefty here, and yes, today I am doing my first reaction video. I was planning on doing it next week sometime, but something happened today that I just had to go ahead and do this reaction video because I was just so shocked and kind of a little blown or taken back by it. But with everything that's going on in the media today and in the world, clearly, we obviously need to be talking more to each other and things like that. So I thought that maybe this would be a good time for me to do my first reaction video, since this was something that I had to really think about. My girlfriend not messaged me, sorry. She woke up this morning and she was like, well, she did message me. She Facebook messaged me the post that Anthony Bourdain had committed suicide, and she knows that I love Anthony Bourdain. If you guys don't know who he is, Anthony Bourdain was a CNN correspondent and a chef, a master chef at that. He also has a Netflix show like Parts Unknown, and he also has a lot of culinary shows. He has been a chef, a master chef, for a very long time. He's noted for being the Elvis Presley of rock star chefs, of bad boy chefs and things like that. He was one of the first to do it, to be like bad boy chef and be cool to cook and things like that. So, but his show, Parts Unknown, was recent, and he had a few seasons of that, and it was a really good show on Netflix, and a really good series where he traveled to different countries, and you got to see the different food that they ate there. He cooked with other chefs. He interacted with the people there. It wasn't just a culinary show. It was actually showing you those different places too, which made the show really dope. Also, his opinions, you could tell that he had a strong intellect. He had a strong passion for food and people, and learning and getting to know more about life and things like that. So his show really connected with me, because that's the type of person I am. I'm really interested in connecting with other people around the world, seeing how we're all different and we're in different places, but our human experience is very similar. So yeah, it hit me kind of hard today that he had committed suicide. And so it got me thinking, and it got me thinking about a dialogue about it, about suicide, and about rich people. I know a lot of people make comments rich people, I don't understand why they would commit suicide and things like that. They have all the money and all that other stuff. And I think, overall, my opinion on that is that all people have their own different type of pain, different type of struggle. And if you're rich or broke or somewhere in between or whatnot, it doesn't really matter, because your experience is your experience, and how things make you feel is how they make you feel. That is unique to you. It's how you handle those things. It doesn't matter. Money does not define how a problem affects you. You can have all the money in the world, but this could still be the worst problem in the world to you, or the worst hurt or loss or whatnot. So, everybody has to struggle within their own human experience. That does not, you don't put a dollar sign on peace of mind. At the end of the day, you can't buy it. You can't buy a peace of mind. You can't, there's certain things you have to do to implement peace of mind into your life. But, and there's certain, certain people that are, religious and things of that nature, or, whatever it is that you do to keep your mind peaceful through a life that is actually full of a lot of struggles and turmoil. And yeah, money is great, makes a lot of things easier, but it definitely does not make you immune to having problems, mental, physical, whatever, family, relationships. Problems are problems, and that they don't have a dollar sign on them. My condolences go out to his family, to his co-workers, to his daughter, of course. She was 11 years old, and one of the things that he said when he was struggling with his drug addiction, he had a heroin addiction in the 80s, and he had been a recovering addict. But from what I hear about addiction, that's a lifetime battle when you're recovering from something like that. But you could even tell in the show that he was struggling with things, but I don't think it was struggling with drugs. I think he was struggling with ideas, struggling to cope in a very stimulated brain, like a stimulated mind. What I'm noticing is that just in the world in general with people that we call geniuses and who are super creative or super talented and things of that nature. And it's not always the famous people. It's always it could be the man behind the camera. It could be anybody. These people like the directors, all these people, all these artists, these right brain people have their own inner struggle. Because to become creative, of course, creative, it means you're creating something or you're making something that was not existent. Or if it was already existent, you have found a way to make it better. So like Anthony Bourdain, he made the culinary world better. By his peers, by from all the standards and the awards that he was given, from the show, the recognition, he made the show better. But he made the culinary world better. But that has nothing to do with his personal experience. No matter how much you achieve in life, your personal experience is that. So we don't know much about his family life or anything of that nature. And I think that when you're a genius or when you're bright, I mean, I use the word genius so much, but when you're bright, you're a lot of things can make you reclusive and it can make you introverted, like, because when you're in a setting with your peers and things like that, and when your mind has you thinking to the left and everybody else is thinking to the right, it makes it hard for you to share dialogue with people most times, because most people are combative when you don't see things the way that they see things. It's a gift and a curse to be creative, because it's a gift and a curse to be passionate about things, like especially in America, where we do the same thing every day. If you're not on social media, you're not cool. If you're not on this, you're not, it groups a whole type of people. Like we group people into certain things. If you're not wearing this, you're not that. And I know that we're trying to get away from it. It's not as bad as it was like probably about 10 years ago, the early 2000s, but it's getting better with, I think we're trying to do better with, like, the transgender people. We're doing better with, dealing with, models don't have to be skinny anymore. We're getting more open-minded, but we're missing a group of people still. And that is the group of people in our society that are talented and that are, geniuses, pretty much. So, and we've been missing this boat for a long time throughout history. We've been missing it for centuries. We were locking up bright people that could have, locking up, killing, putting people in infirmaries and things like that, who we thought had mental health issues because they had opinions or it's insight that we couldn't agree to, right? So now we got away from that and we started calling it mental health issues, and we realizing that the brain is a muscle, and that that brain, everybody has different types of brain and their brain works differently. And the more technology we got, the better, more open-minded we had about about creative people. But the thing is, it's like we're also still isolating creative people. We're isolating creative people to be in their own world. Like, oh yeah, you're an artist. You're in that art world. Or, you're on off to the left somewhere. You're in your world. That's what you do. And you're great at what you do. It will give you that. But there is nothing good that comes from isolation as a human being. In the human experience, we are not supposed to be isolated. That's like why it's the worst form of punishment in the penitentiary. Or it'll say people lose their mind. We weren't born to be isolated. So even if it's like, yeah, I have 20 people around me right now, but I still feel isolated, because in this conversation, no one in this conversation is addressing the fact that I have a difference of opinion or I see things differently, or if they are addressing it, they're addressing it negatively and not opening up their minds to the fact that I may just have a different perspective and I could just be right and you could still be right too, but we just got two different ways of getting there. So I think that is really what happened with Anthony Bourdain. I think that he had his own struggles, and I think he had a whole lot of different ideas about life and the world and experience, and he had a desire to see the world, to feel it, to taste the world and stuff like that. And I understand that. I definitely have that same passion and desire, and I hope I will always be given the opportunity, and I live long enough to be able to see everything in the world has to offer before I die. But when you have a drive like that, and then you're isolated, or you isolate yourself, or you are isolated within your peers, you start to have an inner struggle. And at that time, the only thing that can combat suicide is support. It's the only thing in the world that can combat a suicidal person, is having support. And I know that it's hard to forgive people for things that they may have done in their even in their addiction, or even in the past, just in general. It's hard for us as a people to forgive people. But I do know, I don't even say that I believe, I know people change. I'm one of those people that have changed throughout my life. I'm 33 years old. I've changed in at least 3 times into what my mind was thinking, what I was growing into, and which direction I was headed. And not just changed my mind, but literally changed my whole lifestyle. And I got the best advice from one of my best friends, and she said, Ashley, what doesn't grow dies. And that relates to all people. If you are not growing on a constant daily basis, if you're not learning and growing, you are dying. You're getting one more step closer to death. So those of us who are pushing the limit of growth, or who are pushing, hey, let me try this because I still want to grow. I still want to learn something. I'm not content with being in my regular day-to-day, I know more than everybody else here, so I'm going to stay in this bubble and I'm not going to learn anything else type of lifestyle. I'm not comfortable with that. And there's a lot of people who are extremely smart who are not comfortable with that. They always want to push the envelope. But if the support is not there, because us as a society and us as a community have a hard time supporting, we know that this is history. Whatever is different always has a hard time when it's coming into our society. And so a lot of I think suicidal cases come from isolation and not having support. And I know that people say, well, I was there and I'm supportive of you, or I'm supportive of this or that or whatnot. But it's one thing to say it and it's another thing to be it. And we are also still responsible for our own healthiness and our own life's healthiness and happiness. So I don't think that what he did was not selfish. I definitely truly believe that suicide is one of the most selfish things that you could do. Especially when you have children who are, looking up to you and stuff like that. I think that it's definitely selfish. But I do understand why people want to escape life and find themselves at a point where they're ready to just go ahead and do it and actually do it. So, I mean, it saddens me in general with the Anthony Bourdain situation, because he definitely has already given a lot to the culinary world. He gave a lot to the world in general of himself, and it's sad to see someone talented go, and somebody so giving go, because he couldn't get control of his own mind and his own thoughts and his own demons. Demons are something that we all fight with, rich, broke, poor, somewhere in between, whatever you are. We all have our own demons in this experience. And I think I'm just wondering why it's so hard for us to understand each other when we all are dealing with the same demons. Like, we're all dealing with the same struggles. It's just different. Your demon might not be the same as mine, but it's still we still can recognize that as a demon. So it's sad, but I give once again condolences to his family, his peers, his co-workers, and all of those things, because he would definitely be missed. His mind would definitely be missed from someone who just watched him. I would have loved to got a chance to meet him. I would have loved to even eaten his food, just to have a meal with him or whatnot, and just see what he has to talk about, because he was so interesting just on the show alone. Like, he made me, and I'm not a type of person who, like, I don't follow people. I'm not the type of person who, like, it's just it hasn't ever been me. I'm just kind of in my own lane. But I am inspired by a few people. And he was definitely one of the ones that I'm inspired by. So he would definitely be lost. So if you guys get a chance to check it out, make sure you check out Anthony Bourdain's. Everybody has Netflix, or if you don't have Netflix on cable, he's on the CNN network. You'll be seeing about it. But if you watch the show, you'll see what I'm saying about his mentality and things of that nature. He's definitely pushing the envelope. So, and I think the same thing. Why this conversation was like a reaction was because, as well, Kanye West, man, this is like the precursor to Kanye West to me. Like what just happened with Anthony Bourdain to me at 61 years old is if Kanye survives his mental health crisis, this could possibly be the end for him as well if he does not get the support system. But I'm going to touch on that in the next video about Kanye West. All right. So like, subscribe, share, comment, and yeah, comment, definitely comment. I want to hear you guys' opinion. I'll respond to whatever comments that you leave and things of that. So yeah, Lucky Lefty on everything, all the social media, and all my information will be on the description down here at the bottom. But again, condolences to Anthony Bourdain and his family.